why technology for good is so exciting to me and why I spend so much time on it. And I hope I can stir a little bit of fire in you to like see the opportunities and the challenges we have as humans. So first of all, we heard this today, and I've put this in the chart. The rate of change is accelerating exponentially. So since the beginning of mankind, we were on essentially a linear growth path, and now we're exceeding this. We're going into what is called exponential growth. Some people say this is the singularity coming upon us. So with that in mind, seeing technology becoming ever faster, increasingly in cycles, I just want to give you two brief examples of like how does this manifest in the world. The first one is information. There's a magic number which is 5 exabytes. That's a 1 with 18 zeros, so a lot of data. That is essentially the data which was produced by all of mankind from the beginning of time to the year 2003. 5 exabytes of data. In the year 2010, the same amount of data was produced every 2 days. Last year, we produced the same amount of data every 10 minutes. So you see the trend, right? It's not linear anymore. It's massively exponential. The same example goes for the cost of DNA sequencing. When the Human Genome Project sequenced the first full human genome, which was completed around the year 2000, it cost us $3 billion and took 10 years of effort. In 2006, we did the same work for $10 million, an order of magnitude smaller, $10 million, and it took us a few months. This year, we're doing the whole thing for $1,000, and it takes us hours. The prediction is that beginning this year, at least in the US, pretty much every citizen who will go into like a surgery, for example, will get his full genome decoded. And just imagine the possibilities, what we can do with all that information, laying over like identifying new trends and like diseases, etc. Yet the problem is, as humans, we are really badly wired to actually understand exponential growth. It's a massive problem for us. So we are really wired to see linear growth. This here is a growth path, the exponential growth path of cell phone or mobile phone adoption worldwide. And if you go through time and time again, experts predicted that this is the growth we're going to see. So as humans, you need to lose the imagination that we are on this linear growth. Moore's law is true for microprocessors. It's not true for a lot of stuff we're seeing today. And this makes me terribly excited because the opportunity is vast. The opportunity for you to change the world is enormous because we're seeing this massive upstate in technology. So why is this important? Important it is because in the year 2050, we will have 9 billion people on this planet. If we are not growing our food production by 2% year over year, and we're currently at 1%. If we're not essentially doubling our increase in food production year over year, we will not be able to feed these people. Today, hunger is mostly a distribution problem. In the year 2050, it's an actual problem of food. Poverty. Today, 3 billion people live on less than $2.50 a day. $2.50 is half the price of a cup of Frappuccino from Starbucks. That's their daily income. Take water. 800 million people that don't have access to clean drinking water. That doesn't mean running water out of a tap. That means no access to clean drinking water whatsoever. Or sanitation. 2.5 billion people have no access to sanitation. They essentially openly defecate, which has massive issues in terms of health. Or, and this is a statistic which is particularly important to me because I love entrepreneurs, I work a lot with entrepreneurs. The World Bank estimates that we need to create 600 million new jobs in the next 15 years globally to sustain our current employment rate. And those of you who are from Spain, you know that your youth unemployment rate is at 50%. And if we don't get this generation a job, you will have a burning parliament in Spain within the next 5 years. That's my personal prediction. And yet, and this is the problem, and yet, some of the brightest minds only care about this. They want to create the next version of this. For good reasons, I understand. And yet the problems and the opportunities are so vast. But there is some reason to be hopeful. Take, for example, water. One of the problems with water is that 30% of the wells we drill in Africa are essentially not working anymore after about 1 or 2 years. We just don't know which 30%, so they never get serviced. A startup from Silicon Valley is building this thing. It's a wireless sensor which measures water flow and actually also measures some water specific in terms of the quality of the water, and remotely relays that information to a central command and control center so we know which well is broken. This thing costs $30. Digging a well is a couple of $1,000s, so it doesn't add anything to the cost of the well. They're deploying this now in Africa with charity water in like millions of wells. Vaccination. 20% of vaccination or vaccines which are administered in the third world spoil due to a break in the cold chain. So vaccines need to be cooled throughout the whole cold chain. When the cold chain breaks, the vaccine spoils. If you're lucky, the vaccine has no effect. If you're unlucky, you're actually killing people. This little thing on the fridge on the side there is from a startup called NextLeaf. They're coming out of Boston. It's a $60 little box which has a temperature sensor. It's attached to the fridge itself. So it goes with the fridge through the whole cool chain and can report back not only if the cool chain is broken, but where it is broken. So it can actually endemically fix the problem. This is built on top of a very cheap Android smartphone. So the whole hardware in that thing is an Android smartphone, a tiny little motherboard for the input-output sensors, and that's it. They can get the cost down for this thing to about $20 once they mass produce. A fridge is about $2,000. You get the idea. It doesn't really add anything to the cost. Or take disaster relief. One of the challenges you have in disaster relief, so take for example Haiti or the Philippines, is that major roads get destroyed. Major pieces of the infrastructure get destroyed. The way you deliver aid today is you fly airplanes or helicopters over it. It's expensive, it's not precise, and it's often completely impossible because you actually don't have landing strips. You can't land those planes. This here comes out of, this is footage which comes out of Singularity University. This is a $2,000 copter drone. Has 20 pounds of payload today, not this example, but the new one, has 20 pounds of payload today and can fly in disaster areas and essentially deliver aid right in the place where you need it. Plus, you get all the intel because you've got connected cameras and sensors. So, with that being said, remember the exponential growth graph? We are literally at this knee of the curve. I'm extremely positive that we can change the world for the better, and we can actually tackle all these problems if we just apply our minds to it. And make no mistake, this is not charity. This is business. Which business has addressable markets of billions of people? And also, not to forget, even if someone only lives on $2.50 a day, they're actually spending $2.50 a day. They're spending money. The problem is they can't buy decent product. What they can buy is crap. So if you solve for them, and you sell to 100 million people on a daily basis a product they will buy for, let's say, 10 cents, your business model is actually better than that of WhatsApp. So with that being said, you've got your work cut out for you, and I'm very much looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.